Everyone's been like, get a shovel, get a shovel. And I did get one. So I'm gonna shovel the sod off these bricks and get some of the other stuff. And I will be using that to fill some holes in my backyard. I started this out with the tiny rake because there's a bunch of loose dirt here and I wanted to get it loosened up some more so it's easier to scoop up. Looking back, I'm not sure I still would have done it this way. I got a box out so I could scoop it into something because I didn't feel like going to get the yard cart. I switched to this stirrup hoe / cultivator that I got online somewhere. The top handle actually untwisted at one point, so you see me kind of fix it. Then I got my brand new shovel and started scooping everything up. My back was hurting after this, but it did feel good to get some of it done. If you know me, you know I'm not always going to get the whole patch done because I get wore out pretty easy, but if I can do a little bit here and there, it's eventually going to get done. Too many people have an all or nothing attitude when it comes to doing things like this, so I try not to do that. Whenever I was going to therapy, they told me that's the most toxic thing I can do to myself is think about all or nothing. It doesn't always have to be that way. So just little grains of sand add up eventually. So here we are. I will say that I wish I'd worn the dish gloves for this because these like kind of faux leather gloves, they just didn't allow me to grip things as good as the dish gloves would have. So if I were going to do this again, I'd probably put the dish gloves back on. I switched the camera angles because the area you were seeing didn't need as much work as this area here, plus there was a shadow, so I just wanted to change it up. If you've been with me from the start watching these videos, you know that I'm only getting better at this content creation thing. I guess there's nowhere to go but up. Let me know if y'all want the link to these boots because these have been a lifesaver. I hate the feeling of weeds tickling my ankles, so that's why I wear such tall boots whenever I do yard work. Plus, they're waterproof, they're not going to let mud in, they're not going to let dirt in. They're amazing. It has become abundantly clear to me why people are so good about weed eating. It's so they don't have to do crap like this. I need a break from that, so let's go to the backyard and do that for a little bit. This entryway to the backyard is what I'm going to work on first. Probably need those and those. Recently I saw where someone said to get the weeds wet before you weed them. I don't know if that'll help because there's a lot of rocks around here. So I will try that, but first I want to direct your attention to this little tree. I have no idea what it is, but it keeps coming back, so I think we're going to try to use the pruners to trim it away. Let's be real, I don't know what I'm doing, and it's not really going to work to put a chainsaw down this low to get this, so I just used my 3/4 inch pruning shears from Walmart, and I was able to get down to the root, or sorry, the base, and I really need to get the saw and get in there and try to get this out, and then maybe wedge a shovel in there. I don't know. I'll figure it out. The reason I cut the branches up first is so they can go in the compost and break down faster. While I was down here, I just went ahead and ripped out the weeds. I literally never stop talking while I'm recording unless I am just really in the zone, but talking just kind of helps me get some energy out and helps me just focus on what I'm doing. I don't know what happened to me in adulthood, but somewhere along the way I found my voice because I, as a kid, never talked. I would only talk to people I knew. I was so shy, and I'm just not like that anymore. I talk all the time, even if it's about nothing. I like to info dump. I like to talk about special interests of mine and all that, and I just talk, and I don't know how to shut up. I read in a gardening group somewhere that before weeding, you should get the weeds wet. Oh, dropped the camera again. Well, I tried it, and for this space, since there were so many rocks and a weed barrier and all that, I don't recommend it for this type of weeding. Maybe like your regular garden where you just have a few weeds, but for this, no, it did not help one bit. I decided that I wanted to try going live on TikTok at this point, and I was like, okay, so people will probably stop and watch. And no, I would get like one viewer every now and then, and they would instantly leave. So I just started singing like Rodgers and Hammerstein stuff, and I was just having a good old time weeding this area. I sang, I laughed, I talked to myself, I talked to the phone, you know, I don't know, it's like therapy. I decided to sit because it seemed more comfy, and I don't know, I'm kind of a floor person sometimes. Sometimes I just really do want to sit on the ground. I also have a little bit of hypermobility, so my sitting crisscross applesauce is actually more comfortable than like sitting in a chair sometimes. So, how does everyone else tackle tasks like this? Because whenever I looked at my yard last year, I was so overwhelmed. And then one day I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm only going to have a nice yard if I make it in a nice yard. So we're going to make it a nice yard. And I'm going to do stuff here and there. So ever since then, I've been trying to do at least one thing every weekend. This weekend, I think I did 5 tasks total. So I included all of them in this video. We'll see how many I get to. Well, I tried to go live on TikTok and I didn't really get any viewers. That's okay. I did it without having much of a plan, but I got about half of my goal done. So I'm going to record that here, the rest of it. And then I have plans with my aunt to go on a walk with the kids. Sometimes I really think to myself, I'm going to talk during this clip, and you know, they're just going to watch me do this in real time, and it's just going to be great, like Bear Brown does. Gardening with Bear Brown, he's one of my favorite YouTube channels right now. Yeah, I don't have as peaceful of a personality as him. Y'all would be so annoyed. So annoyed. You're probably annoyed by these voiceovers. When the memes started happening about like yappers and stuff, I was like, oh my goodness, this is who I've become. I've become a yapper. And oh my goodness, did you see those roots? I got most of it. You can actually see the bottom down by the compost bin now. I'm gonna go get a shower because I made plans with my aunt and kind of forgot, so now I'm running behind. Right after I said I was done, I realized a bunch of this Virginia copperleaf has just popped back up in this perennial bed, so I decided to go ahead and get it while I was right here. So, may as well. I should honestly give you a break from my voice right now, but, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. These were pulling out so easy, like the whole taproot was just coming out. And I was like, my goodness. Did I really miss this much this week? Also, I did not think about the camera angle here. So, this morning was so beautiful. This is the next day, by the way. It was so beautiful. I wanted to be outside. So, my husband said, I need to mow the lawn. I said, well, show me how to put the tire back on the mower, and we can take the kids outside and they can play while I rip up some weeds or something. So, we did that. And so, you'll probably see the kids come up and try to get me to pick them up and all that, but right here I'm just gathering some buckets to put some weeds in and some trash. My phone quit recording at a few points, so you don't see all the stuff I do, but I probably got a good 3x5 area. Oops, I guess I dropped my camera there. I got a good like 3x5 foot area of this all pulled up, and the kids were able to play with their new garden toys that I found on clearance at Tractor Supply. So they have these little spades and shovels and a little, what is it called? A trifork? I don't know. A trowel, maybe? No, that's one of them, though. If you wonder, how did it get this bad? Why is your backyard a jungle? Oh my goodness. So, it's a story, but it's kind of boring, honestly. Some stuff has actually already been removed. It just needs to be... It's already been pulled out, but it needs to be like removed. Like this needs to be chopped up. What you doing, Bubby? Hi. Yeah, I don't really want you over here right now because I don't want you to get something on you. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it probably hurts your butt. This is a jungle. No, Bubba. You're gonna have to have a bath. I guess I'll have a helper. Oh. Yeah. What are you doing? I hear ya. Yep, you're all messy. Are you having fun? Yeah, it's a rock. Did you find a rock to play with? Come here. Okay, never mind. Thought he put it in his mouth, but he didn't. He just said, yum. So after that sweet little moment with my little boy, basically the yard got this bad because we drained the pool a while back, and because we were gonna, you know, the water just got really nasty, we drained it, and then it got really hot and it dried up the liner, and we were down on our luck with money, so we couldn't replace the liner. Then we had a hailstorm. The hailstorm destroyed what was left of the liner, created all these holes, and all the weeds started coming up, and it wasn't really safe to climb down into the pool. We're making some headway. I'm choosing to let this be a lesson instead of being something that's overwhelming and daunting. Am I a bad mom for letting them play in the dirt? Honestly, it helps keep them from getting sick, and they love it. They're so happy. Hold on, baby. Something about me was just not satisfied with ending the video here. I've already showered. I'm not in my boots or nothing. But I want to trim this tree if I can get away with it. If I could tell you anything about starting a gardening journey or beginning to learn how to take care of your property, I would tell you to get some pruners, because these 3/4 inch pruners helped me trim down a lot of things. We have a chainsaw, but I don't know how to use it, and I don't feel comfortable using it this close to the house. So that's why I chose to use the pruners today, and then I might use a handsaw later to try and get the rest of it. What I thought was one tree is actually 3 small trees. So that's fun. There's also a hibiscus bush back here that I have propagated off of twice, and I want to propagate off of it again. And there's also some other kind of perennial back here I don't know the name of. I know we see those mini chainsaws all over TikTok, but your girl ain't got the money to drop on that stuff, so I just do what I can with what I have. So, like I said, if I'm going to tell you anything, I'm going to tell you, don't feel like you have to drop a bunch of money on tools. Just use very practical, inexpensive tools when you're starting out, because they'll still get the job done. Also, I don't know how your friends and family are, but my family, they will literally let me borrow any tool I need to if they have it. So, I mean, you don't have to buy every tool. You can borrow. You can, you know, barter for stuff. The last thing I bartered was 18-month toddler clothes for a little girl in exchange for some chicken wire. And I used that to help trellis the garden, and I didn't do it right, so it is all collapsing, which is kind of funny. But so much of this journey I'm on is just learning what works and what doesn't. I don't know if I already said it, but this took me less than 10 minutes. It was 9 minutes and 44 seconds before I sped it all up, and I just did it all by hand with these pruners. So I highly recommend these. If I find a link for them, I'll put it in my description. So that's what's left of the trees that are over there, and that is every single branch I cut off with just these 3/4 inch pruners. There's yesterday's spot that I worked on. My dad let me borrow a saw. My husband's gonna help me try to get these trees out. One tree down. Thank you, honey. I thought it might be easier.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
I was gonna say, I thought it might be easier to just do like the split part and then do the bottom. For that one.
Hang on. You can be working. I'll be right back.
Yes, please show me how to start a chainsaw.
Turn the choke on. Make sure this switch is in the run position, not the stop position. pull the trigger in, engage this lock on the side, and then hold. Actually, it's supposed to be big enough you can fit your foot right there and kind of step down on it.
2 out of 3 trees are grown. We'll get that one another day.